What's up? What's up? Lulu Allen again, Civil Mindset Podcast. We finna jump in part 2 with Unplugged Thursdays, a collab that we did last Thursday. So let's jump into it. We finna talk about a previous episode that I did with Ty, talking about materialistic things and how black people, yes, us black people, invest in bad shit we don't need, but keep putting money in the other person's pocket instead of our own for that instant gratification. Yeah, let's get it. Let's jump into it.
All right. We're back. Welcome back on Thursdays. Lulu.
Yes.
I again, I really appreciate your time for being
Appreciate
here.
you having me.
All right, no problem. Because I know you could either have been doing something right now and sleeping, but I know you really wanted to be here as well. So thank you once again.
Yes.
Okay, so now one thing that I have to mention to you very quickly, as you can see. Um, I don't really pay attention to the numbers as far as when people come in and go, because it's always like
Mhm.
that. So I don't feel, as long as we record the show, I know people for a fact they actually go and listen to some of the recordings that we do, because
Mhm.
I can see that stereo tells me whether how many people was listening to the show, and then when you go back a couple of days later, you see the number is it goes higher. Um, so that's why I also have the hashtag of Unplugged Thursdays, because people can always search and find us, and they can listen to the show. So don't worry about. I don't pay attention to the numbers, like I said, and so we just having our show, and hoping that we can always share. You can always share it with others outside of stereo. Um, so, all right.
Yes.
So, all right. So now let's get back to the topic. Wanted to say you have some very intriguing topics on your show, and the funny thing is when I went on YouTube, I listened to them on YouTube. I also listened to it on your website because you do have a website as well. And can you also remind folks of the website, your website?
The website? Yes, civilmindset.com. No
Civil
space,
mindset.
no nothing. Yep, civilmindset.com. It's all together.
Awesome. So people can actually listen of the episodes of the show of your podcast right from the website, right?
Yes, they can. And the website, it was going to be a clothing line, but I'm not rushing that. It will be soon down the line, but the main thing is my podcast. So, yes, once you
Right.
type, if you go to my Instagram page, you could definitely, it'll send you right to the podcast
Hmm.
page of my website.
Awesome. All right. Well, and if anyone just joined us, we are. This is Unplugged Thursdays with yours, yours truly, Jimbo Fly, and our guest Lulu. She is
Yes.
she owns a podcast called Civil Mindset. It's on all the platforms. So if you have if you have Apple Podcasts, you can listen it from there. If you have Android, any of your Android apps, podcast apps, you can actually search for her podcast Civil Mindset. You'll find it, and also on YouTube, which is where I listen to it from. She has some very interesting topics, on her podcast. So if you guys have could check them out. Civil Mindset is the name of her podcast. You can listen to
Yes.
all of the episodes. And you did say you have your episodes. They come out every 2 weeks, right? Bi-weekly.
Well, that's changing now since I'm on stereo. It's every Tuesday and Thursdays now.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's every Tuesdays and Thursdays. All right, awesome. All right, so now, so you decided to talk about different topics, and I listened to some of them. And like I mentioned earlier, the first one that got my attention is when you started talking about material things like luxury cars, designer brands, and people just just spending money and just for people to talk about them. And then it's like, what's the hope? What's the point of it? What made you come up with that? Talk about this topic.
Because I want once upon a time I was too, you know what I'm saying, into buying all these materialistic things. Poor money management is what I call it also. But
Hmm.
you're not managing your money because you want to look a certain way. And a lot of times,
Hmm.
most of the black people, I'm not gonna say all, but most of the black people who are living these luxurious lifestyles that's not celebrities are people who
Hmm.
can't afford that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Hmm.
like I'm tired of seeing it, especially me being from Chicago. Like all of my friends, like they got good jobs or they breaking their money. You know what I'm saying? But I be like, look, you can have your own designer. You know what I'm saying? Or just focus on the investment part of it. It's nothing wrong with looking nice. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with
Hmm.
that. But I feel like a lot of times our priorities be wrong, and not even speaking on my
Hmm.
friends, family. This is generally speaking, like our priorities be so wrong. And it's like I feel like that's holding black people back because every year we are the number one consumers when it comes to these billion-dollar industries. Like we're feeding them
Hmm.
money, like we're keeping them open, we're keeping they
Hmm.
family rich while we not rich. We don't have no generational wealth. So
Hmm.
I speak about the issue. This is the issue. Now what y'all gonna do? These are solutions. Now what you gonna do?
Wow.
That's where that came from.
That's very deep. And you know what? And I totally agree with you because you look at all this, something that always boggles my mind. I understand, as human beings, we have to have fun. We have to, look at things on the lighter side. But all those holidays, um, there is a reason why they're very popular.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of marketing. It's because
Mm-hmm.
of there's a lot of marketing involved when it comes to every holiday. Like I pay attention
Mm-hmm.
to Walmart specifically because that's where I go to Walmart. It's like every 2 to 3 months they change their stores. Like they do different things because there's always different holidays. So if you start around January,
Yes.
um, they prepare for Valentine's Day. So they change the whole store.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then after Valentine's Day, soon after, there's I think Easter
Yep.
or
Easter now.
Easter, and then right
Mm-hmm.
after that, they're gonna have St. Patrick's Day. You're gonna see they're gonna flip that around, and then soon after St. Patrick's Day, then they're gonna get ready for, I believe, um,
I think it's Mother's
July
Day.
4th. Oh yes, Mother's Day. Yeah, sorry, Mother's Day. And then from that, in July, they get ready for maybe Father's Day, and then July 4th, which is one of the biggest ones. And then they get ready for, well, of course, school. People have to go to school, so they I don't count that as a holiday. It's not a holiday, but then you go
But
from
they gonna
there.
get your
You go
money.
to, huh?
I said it's not a holiday, but they gonna get your money.
Of course, they do get your money because they're trying to sell you everything that you may not even need for school.
Right.
And then after that, they get ready for October, which is Halloween, October 31st. So they change the story again, and then right after Halloween, I think Thanksgiving comes in November. Then from there, then they get ready for Christmas. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot not
Mhm.
Christmas. I forgot. Well, yeah, Christmas, but also what comes right before Christmas? Is it the Black Friday, right?
Yeah, Black Friday. I feel like that's the biggest
That
spending
is the biggest.
holiday.
Yes, that's where so much money is spent on Black Friday. So
Mm-hmm.
I really mentioned that it's not because I'm saying that people should not enjoy themselves and try to make others happy. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is you're right. We spend so much in keeping those companies open, while we could have sponsor black-owned businesses instead and keep them open instead, and hopefully make sure that they can become rich just as much as those other big businesses. But that's not what's happening. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So I really appreciate the fact that you said that, because that's exactly what I used to think, what I used to have in mind. I'm like, we spend so much money, we don't realize Walmart
Yes.
is getting richer, Amazon is getting richer and richer because they are not the biggest retail company in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we have our own, we have little mom and pop shops that are there that are struggling especially because of COVID, and we don't buy from them. And a
No,
lot
or
of them
it's
are owned by, right, a lot of them are owned by minorities. A lot of them are owned by people that are either from other countries, and instead we
yeah.
go to those big companies, and they're getting rich.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you. That is so true. Like the dollar only circulate the black community 6 hours. That's it. The black dollar only circulates within the black community for 6 hours.
That is so sad.
Yes,
Hmm.
that is it. And
Crazy.
so, yeah, that's crazy. Or then, like, if we, you know what I'm saying, if we go in these black businesses, we expect a discount, or or the black business owner charge too high. I'm not gonna lie. Some of these business owners, like, this is my whole thing. If you know your target audience, who your target audience is, don't be charging crazy
Mm,
amount when you're starting off. You know what I'm saying? I get people like, well, you got Louis and Gucci, they charging this much and black people buy them and blah. Yes, this is true. And yes, those same black people that's buying them can't afford that stuff either. But that don't mean continue to
mhm,
feed the disease. That doesn't mean that. That don't mean make money off your own people in that way. You know what I'm saying? It's the difference from investing in your people and you know what I'm saying? Really like, being on a whole different type of agenda. I'm not gonna charge something expensive because Louis and Gucci charge something expensive if you ain't got Louis and Gucci quality. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot
mhm,
of things that go into the whole being material into the materialistic thing from the business aspect and the consumer aspect with both of those people being black.
mm. So do you think, let me ask you then, do you think those corporations, do you think they target uh, black people, black communities more than they do other communities? Do you feel like that's what's going on, or do you feel like black people they always want to spend their money?
I think it's both. I think it's both, and I touch on this in my segregation versus integration episode as well,
Hmm.
where once we became integrated, you know what I'm saying, the government, they
Hmm.
wanted this, not the white people at our level, the white people that doesn't have power, and this is what I mean our level, that's not in office, that's sitting here they're not in the Supreme, they're not in higher power or senators in the office type thing. So once the white
Hmm.
people and the black people, we became integrated, the white people was like, you know what? Now they're gonna start coming on our side. Hey, we might as well get them what they want because they already knew that it was a lot of black people that wanted that certain level, that wanted that acceptance, that wanted that equality. And with that equality, I feel like black people we lost it. Like we was looking to be equal, but in that search for being equal, we lost ourselves trying to become them or be accepted by them, and we lost everything to them. Then we had nothing but black designers, black owned business compared to now it's on now we're starting to build them up, but it was a point in time for years, decades where it wasn't nothing you could find black. And in some industries you still can't find those things black. So I believe that white people did target us. I mean, they'd be a fool not to. Honestly, if you're looking at marketing and how to, milk the system, that's what they've been doing. You know what I'm saying? And it's been
Hmm.
working for them. And I feel like yes, they target us, but I also feel like Black people want to keep up with the Joneses too. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So it's a mix of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm with you on that as well. And now, thanks for the claps, sis research. She really likes what you just said,
I
and you are
appreciate that.
welcome. You're welcome to chime in, sis research, if you feel like you you agree or you have something to say. You're welcome. And we're talking about um, Lulu's podcast, Civil Mindset. Some of the topics that she talked on her show. Currently, we're talking about materialistic things, um, and really, we're focusing on the Black community where people are, they always want to buy the latest brand, the latest, and they spend sometimes they spend all the money they got, and then
Mhm.
just to wear the latest brand, you know. And those things are not really helping our community. It's not making us richer. It's not really um, it's not helping no one, because that's exactly why a lot of kids, their parents go and go extra miles just to make sure they look good. They send them to
Mhm.
school, and the next thing you know, a lot of those kids, it's not like they really doing well in school. They just, because all they worry about is how good they look. But are
Mhm.
you worried about how bad your grade looks also?
Right.
Especially in high school and elementary school, those kids, they just a lot of them, they focus on that, and the parents don't even pay attention to realize, what, that's important too, but there is a
Mhm.
way you go about doing that to make sure that child stay focused. Not just you want to compensate them by making sure they look good, but do you also go extra mile to make sure that they are successful in school? And to me, I feel like that's very important as well.
Mhm.
So and the kids, they learn from their parents. The parents is providing all the materialistic
Mhm.
things that they want, and then at some point they become exactly that. They also, when they grow up and they can work, what do? They grow up, they do the same thing. They spend all their money on materialistic stuff, and then they want the best cars, and go and get a loan on a car, and now they have to go work for that to pay for that loan. I mean, I'm not saying somebody shouldn't have a nice car and stuff like that, but if you in school, for example, and you want to succeed, but if you have to keep another
Mhm.
full-time job, it's gonna be even more difficult, because yeah, you have to pay for that car that you just took the loan on. You know what I'm saying? Just because you wanna that young person want to make sure that they look good in a car,
Mhm.
when they don't realize that they could have been driving a lesser expensive car. But of course,
Yes.
once you graduate, you're making money, you can buy whatever you want. But you also still have to realize there's a lot of ways you can go about doing things where you don't have to go overboard and also still be successful. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of touch base on that, because I know you talk about that on your show, Lolo, and I really wanted to make sure that we highlight that.
No, I agree with you. You right, because it's like how you expect to afford an Audi car on a McDonald's salary. Like, and
Hmm.
not to come at McDonald's, but it's like if you got rent and everything else, you got responsibilities. You just got to think about your decisions. Like your decisions affect you a lot. Like your choices today affects you tomorrow, next week, next year, years down the line. So it's like don't put yourself in a bigger debt than what you already in.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I definitely, yeah, with the materialistic thing, like we covered a decent amount in that small segment. And like I said, just speaking to a person that's older that been through it, you know what I'm saying? That's amazing. Like
Hmm.
he's the guy on my episode, Tyrone.
Hmm.
he's amazing. Like he's amazing at business. Like he has his master in
Mm-hmm.
business administration, things like that. So investments and everything. He's a great person to talk to. So
Mm-hmm.
to hear how how he's like he even said like I used to do the thing for being materialistic things for the females and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
after a while, like he think it comes with age. I agree too. It comes with age, but it also comes with what I'm saying. Once you know better, you do better because you want
Right.
better. You know what I'm saying? Like people can
Right.
know better and not do better simply because they're content with where they're at, and that's what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely with the materialistic things, that's like you said, your kids see you. And I see a lot of times people our age in their 20s and 30s, young parents dressing up their kids, they toddlers and stuff in Gucci and Louis and having these crazy birthday
Mm-hmm.
parties. Like these kids ain't gonna remember none of that.
Nope. Nope. They're not.
Like none
And
of it.
something you just said, like, um, I guess we like to impress women, black, guys like to impress women, and but specifically with the black men, we would do some crazy stuff just to impress women to try to look good and buy the latest, nicest shoes and clothes and you know,
Hmm.
I mean, if I'm not saying somebody like again, I'm not saying people should buy whatever makes them happy, but I don't think the most expensive item um you won't look no more like just as much you could look in something that costs 20 to $50. Instead, you
Hmm.
buy something that costs $250. That's a huge difference.
That is for
You
one
see what I'm
item.
saying? Right. It's a huge difference. Just to impress somebody, you want to look good, and you buy something for that, something that costs you 250, while you could actually get it for 50. It's like, okay, you know.
No,
So,
I
so people really need to uh, think before they do such certain things. And I feel like, and I really like that. I don't know why I keep talking about this topic, but I think it's because I really feel like you did a very good job with your the person you invite on that show. You said
thank
what's
you.
his name? Joam, right?
Yes, Tyrone.
What was it? Tyrone. Okay, sorry, Tyrone. So I really feel like you guys touched on a lot of good things about this, and a lot of people need to hear um, that episode. Also, all of them, but especially this one because we all um, do that. We all, spread ourselves on materialistic things just to either impress someone or just because we
Hmm.
want to, or just because we don't do that just because like people are buying like the most expensive TV on Christmas, like they
Man,
buy.
the most expensive anything just to say they got it. Like, and I understand quality is you're gonna pay for quality,
Yeah,
but a lot of that stuff they be paying for quality don't be that good.
sometimes it's not necessary. A lot of times it's not necessary, you know, because here's the thing. Let's say you already have a TV in your living room, right? I know
Hmm.
it's probably a 50 something inch, and you want to
Hmm.
upgrade to a 70 inch. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but you bought the 50 inch last year, and
Hmm.
then this year you feel like okay, you want to upgrade, then you want to spend an extra $700 just because you want to upgrade a year after you bought the 50 inch. You know, I'm like, why would people want to do stuff like that?
Right.
You see what I mean? Now, I'm not saying you can't have a 70 inch. Maybe another way people could do that is you could bargain. You could find a way where you can buy that same TV for a little bit cheaper. You don't have to get it when it's when it first come out, or you don't have to get it when everybody's trying to get it. there's so many different ways we could do things where we don't have um, to be so out there just because we wanna, like you said, you wanna people talk about you, or just because you want to say you have this or you have that. It's not
Yes.
necessary.
No, I agree. Like you said, it don't even be necessary, and it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But we make those decisions to buy that thing anyway, knowing it's gonna hurt us in the long run. Later on down the road, we
Hmm.
still make that decision.
Hmm. Yeah. So now I'm gonna take this time to take another 2 minute break, and then when I come back, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna talk again, continue to talk to you about your show, your podcast. I'm sorry, your podcast, Civil Mindset, and also
Yeah.
there is I guess, a couple more topics that got my attention. I wanted to touch base on as well. So um, let's go ahead and take another short break, a 2 minute break. We'll be right back. Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, Lulu, and we're back.
Yes, we are.
This is Unplugged Thursdays, and I am Jimbo Fly, and this is Lulu, my special guest tonight on
What's up? What's
Unplugged
up?
Thursday, Unplugged Thursdays, and as you can see, folks, this is not Nikki, this is Lulu, and she is has her own podcast on all the platforms. Whether you have Apple phone or if you have Android, just go ahead and search for podcast Civil Mindset. You will find her, and you could listen to all the episodes. So I'm sorry. So we've been talking about some of the topics that she's done on her show, but now I would like to talk a little bit about um, the show, the podcast itself. Um, so, what type of feedback do you have you been receiving from other people that listen to it, like either people that you know or people that you don't know? Lulu?
Um, I have a little bit of everything. I only had one bad feedback. It was from somebody who was hating on me. I wasn't. I mean, I listen to whatever. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I ain't no hard feelings. But outside of that one bad one, I had all good, regardless if it was constructive or not, because I know the things I need to work
Mm-hmm,
on, what I want to be better at, the quality I'm trying to reach, the level. So, you know,
mm-hmm,
I take all those things into account. So, I mean, people love what I talk about, even for like biracial couples. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm,
I have biracial couples came to me like, hey, you know what I'm saying? This helping me understand my spouse better, you know what I'm saying, in certain situations because they just shut down or, you know, they get aggressive or they get real defensive and I'm not trying to offend them, you know, different things I'm hearing back, feedback. And it's from people I don't know. I hear a lot from people I don't know. I hear stuff from people I do know, but I hear a lot from people that I don't know. And
mm-hmm,
they say that's your biggest supporter is the people you don't know. My mom is my biggest
mm-hmm,
fan. She listen and watch every show on repeat, and she constructs me the
mm-hmm,
most. And I mean, I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like a loving, supportive mom. So, you know, I definitely be listening to
mm-hmm,
my OG. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback from the podcast itself, how I can better my quality. You know,
mm-hmm,
just setting up, just I haven't heard anything about my organization or the way I talk. I always hear I'm a great speaker, I'm a great listener and stuff. So, you know, I just continue to I still work on how can I be a better talker, you know, better listener, a better speaker, a better listener. So I mean the feedback
mm-hmm.
be amazing.
Mm, nice. And and I think I was watching I forgot which episode it was, and you said something, and I was like, this girl she's really onto something, even because what I think I heard you said, you were like, um, even if people say if people give you um like people give you some I guess criticism, you're not gonna take it in a bad way. You're just gonna take it and just it's not gonna affect you personally. And I felt like
Yeah.
that was very powerful. You said that because when you're doing something like that, when you're putting yourself out there like that to do a podcast, it's
Yes.
you're gonna get all kinds of criticism. And a lot of it sometimes some people they just want to criticize. So and if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have the personality to deal with it, you may take it the wrong way. So and when you said that, I was like, yeah, you will be successful in this because you are you have that mindset where you don't let whatever people say to keep you down. You're just gonna take it and make something out of it.
Yes. Yes. You got to, especially in anything that requires an opinion, or honestly, not
Hmm.
even require opinion. It's just anything you do these days. You have to prepare yourself for the negativity. That's what I am. I expect people to say, you know, nasty things or disagree in a disrespectful way, but I also expect people to
Hmm.
be, you know what I'm saying, to disagree with me in a respectful way. I expect everything, you know what I'm saying, because there are people who they're just gonna chase the clout. If somebody agree with something you said, they gonna agree. Somebody disagree, they gonna disagree. Like, so I
Hmm.
just that's why, and then that's another thing that it doesn't affect me because besides preparing, but not only that, it's like, you know, you got a right to your opinion. You know, it's not going to change me and who I am because, like I said, I'm a very
Right.
rebellious person, but I'm very opinionated and I stand on mine. So that alone, like, you have to, especially podcasting, you definitely have to have a certain attitude because you can't be sensitive.
Hmm. Yeah, you can be because you're really putting yourself out there for people to
Yes.
criticize you. So you can't you can't be into your feelings when you're doing that. Whether it's video, podcast, even stereo. Even people can see you, even people are just looking at an avatar, but they can hear you. And if people may say something and you don't like it, you may start saying stuff back to the people, and then you
Right.
will lose your composure. You will lose your composure.
Right. That's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. Wow. So how did you learn about the technical side of the podcast? Because when you told me you do everything from marketing to editing and all that kind of stuff, I was like, that's very impressive. So tell me, how did you learn that from while you were in the military, or did you just watch videos and learn those things? How did you learn about the podcasting and stuff like that?
Those things are self taught or people I came across. My military job, I am a mechanic on aircraft, on helicopters. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm aviation, I'm a mechanic. So I don't do nothing technical at my job too much. But sometimes I do. But as far as podcasting, I taught myself. Um, I have I had previous friends that was like into like the computer aspect where they like fix computers. Like, I run into a lot of people and just my family period. They are very tech savvy and innovative people. And so that been pretty much young, even showing me Adobe and stuff. But with the podcast, with the previous background, it really been YouTube videos. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um looking at, like I said, I was on deployment, you know what I'm saying? And be it with COVID and everything else, like, it affected people in the military too. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you still got a life outside of this. So I'm not trying to spend all my money into, something I'm starting off. So I was looking at, what's
Mm-hmm.
some free software I can use to master and engineer, my podcast.
Mm-hmm.
With free, you got limitations or it's not going to be that good of a quality. So again,
Right.
YouTube, reading a lot. And just things like that. And then as far as marketing, like, I'm not the best at marketing. I'm not the worst. I'm constantly working at it. But
Mm-hmm.
um my spouse is amazing at marketing, so I definitely get the criticism for her. And for my best friend, he definitely criticized me a lot because he's a musician. So
Mm-hmm.
they be like, just informing me as far as marketing goes. And then it's this new app I've been using. And like I said, I'm a creative artist, like artistic
Mm-hmm.
person. So I used to draw. I started drawing when I was young. So now it's these apps that I create, and that's I create these posts. Like, I create my own posts to market my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So again, it come with YouTube and just start playing around with the tools and like, oh, okay, I know how to do this. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this familiar from a previous app. So just all those things, I just did it myself. I mean, the best, you are
Mm-hmm.
your own student and your own teacher in life. So, and I just use that.
Wow. Amazing. It's very impressive. And again, I'm glad that you and I connect, because I can see how there's a lot of things that could happen. I never make any promises to anyone. However, I like to I like to see talented people. I like to work with talented people. Obviously, you have some talents, and I like the fact that you're not afraid to use it, your talent, and put it out there for people to not just for people to see, but again, you have a mission, and I do see how one day you may you will get some people's attention with your show, with your podcast, and especially because of the some of the topics that you talk about, but
Mm,
also your determination, your attitude. Again, just like the quote earlier, and your drive, and people will take notice of that. So
mm, appreciate that.
so yeah. hmm And if anyone just joined the the show Unplugged Thursdays. You are listening to Unplugged Thursdays. Um, that's a show that we have every Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Uh, as you can see, if you know about the show, it's usually between me and Nikki. Britt, she is not here tonight. Actually, she is performing. She's a singer, artist,
Oh, that's what's up.
and yeah, she had a tour or something. She was performing today, and so that's why we have somebody different with me here. And Miss Lulu, she is, as you can as you heard, she's a talented person. She has her own podcast outside of stereo. She just joined stereo in January, and she likes it. And her podcast outside of stereo is called Civil Mindset. She's trying to bring that onto stereo for to kind of branch out even more and also
Yeah.
build their audience. So if you guys would like to take some time to, not right now, of course, but but later on when we're done with this show, look for her on either Apple Podcasts or YouTube or any other Android podcast app that you use. Search for Civil Mindset, and then you can find her podcast. It's very interesting. I've listened to most of the episodes already, and
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
keep following you everywhere.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate that. Unplugged Thursdays. Let them know we here.
And remember to follow Lulu as well on here and also on Instagram. She does have if you tap on her avatar, you will see the Instagram icon. Just tap on it. You can follow her.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
and same thing with the show. We have a hashtag. We own this hashtag, of course, on stereo. You tap on that hashtag unplugged Thursdays. It's right on your screen here, folks, and follow us because we are also working on making this. This show has been running on stereo since November. Yes. So um, we have a lot of people following us, and we want to keep growing. Um, and that's why we also created an IG page for the show on Thursdays. That is currently under construction, and but you can actually follow us because once the page is active and stuff, then you won't be we won't miss you. Um, you won't be missed. So we make sure you follow the page now, our IG page on Thursdays, so you won't be left out. So again, thank you everyone for actually listening. So now we're going to continue with the show with Lulu, and Lulu, there are some other topics that I saw that that I listened to that also got my attention. You talked about black health, right?
Yes.
So yeah, and you talk about a lot of things that some of it I was aware of, but some of it I wasn't. And I'm like, this is very important. People have to hear those things. And you talked about how uh actually wait a minute, hold on. I listened to to your show, but I also listened to something else. I forgot where I listened to, but I kind of connected with that episode that you did on Black Health. Basically,
Okay.
what I'm trying to say is, you see Asians, right? I think it
Yes.
was yeah, I was listening to I think it was a comedy show, and basically Asians they love to push their kids to go to school to become doctors. They do that like really. They push their kids to become doctors.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is, even though they love doing pushing their kids to go to doctors, they don't like to go to the doctors themselves.
Mm.
Um, and here's the funny thing: black people do the same thing. Um, and I can say that because I've seen it where parents are pushing their kids to become, uh, you know, doctors and stuff like that. But a lot of black people they don't like to go to the doctors. They don't like to do that because either they have bad experience or because of some of course some of
Mm-hmm.
things in the past some of the things in the past we all aware that how black people were used for certain things and but also some people are just plainly afraid. They just don't want to do it. They just don't want to be um,
Agree.
going to the doctor. So talk a little bit about the topic as well. Let's kind of get into that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I preach black health all the time, and I'm not like a health freak or anything, but
Hmm.
my lifestyle is very important. So yeah, as far as black health, I feel like we don't take care of ourselves enough. And the crazy thing about it is, doing this topic, I remember when I wrote it down in my book. It's like one of my probably like top 10 topics when I was writing all my stuff a few years ago. I remember seeing a post about, like I said, I'm from Chicago, and we always highlight about black on black crime shooting and stuff. So I seen this post and it was like black people is not dying from bullets. They dying from like heart attacks and diabetes. High blood pressure was number one. And cancer was number two and all these other things. And I'm like, dang, like what's really going on? And when I really started researching it, you like just being around me, like even it's people in my family, like everybody in my family is eat meat or whatever like that. I'm like the only one that tried the vegan diet. I didn't succeed, and I just love certain things, certain dairy products. But
Hmm.
um I seen my auntie, she was diagnosed with diabetes, and I seen her, they gave her so many pills, and she like, no, I'm not taking that. She ended up, she always been holistic, and she ended up pretty much she can manage her own diabetes with no medicine. Like she be able like, okay, my sugar low. Okay, my body's not producing this type of insulin because she had feel certain things about her body. She like, okay, she started making all these holistic things. And even with B, like, um, that's a person I call for the holistic studies, like TTs. This and this is happening, and I just seen how anything that happened, she cured or managed it herself, like without a doctor. And so that in itself, I was like, black health is very important because it's not like, besides not being knowledgeable about the situation, we feel like it's expensive to eat healthy, and it is expensive to eat healthy. But why is that? They putting these
Hmm.
poor foods and liquor stores and all these things in the communities, factories, like even with the Red Lion, putting, we buy houses by railroad tracks, all this stuff that's heavy polluted, all these things that, all the leading causes of death from high blood pressure and stuff like that is environmental. So it's like we need
Hmm.
to know about these things. How can we better our health? And it's nothing like, even the other day, I'm like, dang, it's so many homeless people in the world, and not one of them started a garden. Like, if you homeless, you can sit there and eat for free. All you gotta do is plant. You know what I'm saying? They probably like, oh, how I'm gonna get seeds, all this other stuff. But it's always ways to do things. I just feel like black people, like, we not knowledgeable about it, and we just content at this point. Like, soul food is slave food. So with the black health, like everybody
Hmm.
has something going on health wise somehow, one way or another. And like I said, I'm not a health freak, but I'm aware, I'm knowledgeable, and I have implemented things in my diet to, prolong my life, or even, you know, so I can manage a healthy life as long as I can. So
And that
that's
that
what black
and that
health.
in- and that includes eating healthy and exercising and do different things that to make sure your body really give the body what it needs, right? Isn't that what you mean?
Yeah, definitely eating healthy, exercise, but also the mental. Like, people die of
Hmm.
stress. People can have a mental breakdown. Like, mentally, your body is the brain. Like, at the end of the day, we are machines. So your mind got to be right. That's the main thing too. Like, your mind has to be right. Like, you're not going to sit here and choose a healthy meal over a bad meal just off what your body telling you, because your body, anytime you eat, you should not feel so sleepy, you shouldn't get a stomach ache, you shouldn't get none of those things. So your body is telling you, yo, I want the healthy food, but mentally your cravings, you so used to your cravings that mentally you like, hey, I don't even want to fight it, or that's what you want at the end of the day. So it's not even just about eating healthy. It's about being healthy mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Mentally.
Psychologically, emotionally, like your response to things, like that's what black health is. It was about everything.
Now, speaking of being healthy mentally, there is another episode you had with this girl. She is, I believe, she works in the in the mental health area, and she was really
Yes.
good too, by the way. And now I'm kind of gonna segue into that because it those two topics they kind of connect with each other. Um, now I she one of the things that I like about her, she's very blunt,
Yes.
um, and she's very honest with her with what she talked to you about. Um, and I think she was a really good host. But you really asked a very good question too. So what
Mm.
from this topic itself, what exactly do you see? What do you see that can be done um, to help? I know you know you're not an expert per se, but when you thought about doing that topic, what were you? Do you feel like you know? How did you come up with that topic? First of all, what
Well,
made you come up with that?
if you talking about the one with Diamond, that's her name, the psychologist. Yes, and she
Yes.
is hands on in the city out west of Chicago, helping juveniles and everything. Like she's serious. So please
Uh-huh.
tap into her. But as far as like a psychologist thing, but for people in Chicago,
Yeah.
but no, me and her, so we got a history. You know what I'm saying? We've been knowing each other since 16, 17 years old, and we
Okay.
real close and tight. So it was just the vibe and stuff like that. But like I said, she's in the mental health field.
Hmm.
She's like a professional at it. I'm just a person who I've
Okay.
been through it, and even at that moment during my deployment, that was somebody I can call and talk to. You know what I'm saying? To like
Hmm.
talk me off the ledge, whatever I'm going through. So that's what we call it, venting, mentals, and self-hate, because even in the black community, and I agree with her, like a lot of things is because we hate in ourselves. We don't accept ourselves. We can't accept ourselves if we want to, be accepted by the white people or the Asians, be accepted or live like them or be them. And not saying everybody that's black, but it is a lot of black people that are, like for instance, the other day, I'm washing my car. This black woman get aggressive with me over the vacuum. But when it's another different race she talking to, her whole demeanor change. And I'm like, dang, you should be just as nice to me as to that person. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that alone, like, that's what comes with the black health, the mentals, because it's like, why do you hate yourself? What's your negativity towards me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just another black woman. I ain't come to her. She approached
Hmm.
me. So that in itself, like, that's a prime example that we come towards each other. We talk to each other nasty. We approach each other nasty. You know what I'm saying? And with that, that's what we just start vibing talking about that. Even like in the black community, a lot of times we shame our black men for being, for walking out, but we never talk about the mothers that walk out. You know what I'm saying? So it would be them
Hmm.
topics that we gotta touch on, because a lot of homes, grow up without a father, but we ain't talking about them homes that grow up without a mother. You know what I'm saying? Like that daughter or son gonna have father issues and mother issues, or or. So it's like it was those things to talk about because it affect our community. We see it.
Hmm. Yeah. So the way I understand this, I feel like when we're looking at black health, we want to look at it in a holistic way, holistic view, where we're not just looking at one side, not just one part, but the whole body, mentally,
Yes,
physically, emotionally,
everything.
So. everything. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Everything,
So
psychologically, spiritually,
psychologically,
especially
spiritually,
spiritually, because
yes.
then Christianity, with religion, they even
Hmm.
look at people who practice hoodoo and voodoo as like witches and
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's like, yo, y'all know that's your native religion. Like people in
Hmm.
Africa before slavery and all of them was not Christians. Like,
Yeah. Right. Right. Yeah. With Christianity really came with the Europeans came with that and changed the whole. Just like they changed our history with slavery, they changed our history with Christianity as well.
yes, exactly. Yes, that's the end of part two of Unplugged Thursdays collab. That was your boy Jim Boy Fly. Yeah, I know y'all peeked out that intro at the beginning. RJ got nothing but heat. Our West 290. Yo, let's get it. Stay tuned this Thursday, part three. We in here.